Hello everyone, welcome back to SportsKhabri, on foot and Curious Harry. I've got with me Arnava and Hiren like always. I'm Rahul and guys, the AIFF Exco meeting is on the agenda today for us. It'll be interesting to hear from you guys what the Exco had on their agenda to sort of speak about and what we've learned from this meeting. I know I'll go straight to you about this before this restart of the ISL. It's an important sort of topic to discuss. What is it? Can you give us a brief of what you've learned so far from this exco meeting?
Well, this Expo meeting, the executive committee of the All India Football Federation, which is sort of a deciding body in regard to matters of interest in regard to how to run government Indian football. And that was called because there was an emergency committee meeting held in November to fire the then Secretary General of the All India Football Federation, who went to court, and the court said, this special body is not allowed to take that decision. That decision has to be taken by the uh, 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 that body was not allowed to take the decision of firing the secretary. Again, depends on what kind of constitution we're looking at. I think that's the first. There's no clarity, right? Since 2022, I don't even know how this federation is functioning to start off with. And then, of course, the court said, you know what, you can confirm this decision, and but you have to hold an exco meeting. So that was called, and certain people could not attend, certain people did not attend, and then you realize in the morning that certain people have fed certain journalists certain pieces of information to put out as articles or tweets, depending on which side you are on. While I think the most important man in this whole equation, and that's the president, has remained completely silent. And so then, we go into this day, and the meeting was held. Certain people were asking why representatives of FSDL as the marketing partners were there. They have been now there for, don't let me lie, for 15 years. They've been attending meetings, excos, AGMs of the federation as guests, as invited guests. And then they discussed the main topic of the day. Of course, certain people wanted certain other topics to be put on the agenda, but there are means and ways of putting topics on the agenda which don't seem to have been followed. And the main topic was to discuss the whole situation regarding the general secretary. But when Baichung sort of then picked up some of those things that have been quoted in the media in regard to there have been credit cards issues to certain senior officials of the federation, allegations of the president buying shoes on that credit card, the spa treatment of the treasurer, and again, unsubstantiated, allegations. I think, Rahul, you're in a better position to explain that as someone who's on the legal side. And Baichung then clearly said, you know what, I agree that Shaji is at fault, but Shaji is not the only one at fault, due to which we are in the situation we are in. And questioned Kalyan Chaube as well as Kepa as the treasurer. Again, got supposedly into a verbal spat with Mr. Harris, and who said, this is not the forum, this is not the form to do it. Do you have any proof of what your allegations are? And of course, Baichung did not have any proof. And then the vote came in regard to Shaji. Baichung abstained. The rest voted to have the secretary removed. The secretary was removed. No other thing per se was discussed, and it was over.
Yeah, Arnava sort of explained it very nicely there. And you think this time there'll be no complications with the whole? I mean, again, on the legal side, as far as I understand, I think this is exactly what the court wanted, which is the sort of the
Yeah, but
procedure.
I have a different problem. Does the court have a jurisdiction on the matter?
Yeah, that becomes another issue. yeah, that becomes another issue. I think the problem that India has, that we don't really have a sporting tribunal as such. If we have to go anywhere, you have to go to CAS. There is, unfortunately, yeah, we just don't have the bodies for it. And we've seen in the past that if there is a court appointed sort of administrative body taking care of sport, then you can sort of risk a FIFA suspension. And we've seen that with a lot of cases from other countries as well when there has been court intervention. I think, if I'm not wrong, even the Pakistan Football Federation, when there was court intervention, they were suspended by FIFA. And
Brazil
yeah,
was recently
yeah,
threatened by FIFA, right? Brazil, the courts in Brazil removed. They removed the president of the Brazilian of the CBF, and FIFA clearly said, if you stick to your guns and do not reinstate him in a certain period of time, then Brazil will be suspended. And for Brazil, the danger is, and the situation that they stand at the moment in the qualifiers of the 2026 World Cup, they stand there very, very badly in the South American qualifiers.
yeah,
And if Brazil, let's say, miss 2 matches in the March window, uh, uh, that might be, Brazil might miss the next World Cup, an expanded World Cup, which would be a joke in itself. But the courts then realized, that this is not a matter for us to discuss. There are allegations against the president. Put it into the right channels, and this seems to be a problem in a lot of countries that don't have, as you call it, a sports tribunal to look into these matters. Be it, these things. Be it what happened in the past in the AIFF. Look at the whole things that are happening in the wrestling federation. How many boxing federations do we have? I mean, it's very, very complex. Again,
yeah.
and that all of that structure needs to be created, but there needs to be a political will and a will in the people managing sports in India, and I don't see that at the moment.
Kumar is asking why we cannot have a sports tribunal. Again, Arnava, getting guys correct if I'm wrong. Based on whatever I've studied, I think this was one of my topics for my final sem in law school, which was sporting federations. I mean, football federations being banned by FIFA. So yeah, we don't have sports tribunals because we simply do not have the judges to sit and hear cases, because they do not have enough knowledge on sporting issues and sporting matters. And that's the sort of, I'm guessing, based on whatever I've learned, that's the large problem, Arnav, that we just
Yeah, I
don't have
mean,
the.
that is the one. But then my counter question is, if you don't have such judges, how can the Delhi High Court, how can the Supreme Court of India
Yeah,
make judgments on sporting matters?
yeah,
Right? I mean,
yeah,
this whole mess is because, with no disrespect, but the judiciary is not in a position to take a decision on a matter with which it doesn't know that the law of sports stands above the law of the land.
yeah,
So that's the whole and this is something which I tried to explain when I went to Delhi in 2022 when all of this was happening, and nobody wanted to understand, because they said, no, the law of the land is more important. Then you don't understand how sports works around the world. This is the only thing. It doesn't matter if it is a democracy, if it's an autocracy, if it is anything in between, whatever it is, there is one understanding that in global sports, the same laws are applied. The world is in a mess, but sports has been able to, over 100 years, actually, despite all the problems that the world has faced, world wars and whatever has happened, that sports was able to build a structure. Is it perfect? No, it's far from perfect. But it is better than getting these things into courts, into other things, into other matters. And this is something that I also say to the people, I said it yesterday, who wanted AIFF reform. The same set of people are now again calling for, you wanted these people in. And they have made matters much, much worse than they were in the past, because you did not realize with all the Indian football is not easy to manage. And it was not perfectly managed. But the people before that managing were trying to keep the system running. And these people have dismantled the system to a large extent over the last 15, 16 months. Right? And those are the sad realities of where we stand today.
yeah, yeah. I mean, apart from this obvious sort of agenda that they had, Hiren, disappointed that there weren't a few more things discussed in this meeting.
डेफिनेटली आई थिंक जो मतलब सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज होनी चाहिए थी वही डिस्कस नहीं हुई है और बाकी सारी चीजें डिस्कस हो गई सो दैट इज द यू कैन से सैड रियलिटी एज सर मेंशन ऑफ द इंडियन फुटबॉल कि और प्रायोरिटी इज डिफरेंट एंड द कॉमन गोल इज नॉट जो भी यहाँ पे स्टेक होल्डर्स है डिसीजन मेकर है उनका वो नहीं है इट्स नॉट अबाउट द इंडियन फुटबॉल्स बेटरमेंट इट्स अबाउट द पर्सनल गेम एंड हाउ दे secure their places and kick each other out. I think that is the main agenda. I blame you, you blame me, and that is merry-go-round continuous. Uh, Not on the same page on a you can say ki how to improve Indian football. That is the big you can say ki disappointment thing and no discussion on the I mean just finished AFC Cup. I think I kind of surprised with the reports in the morning coming up that in after the SAF championship review meeting coach that time said to the AFF that my priority is World Cup qualifiers round three. So then I think how can you can say ki extend the contract if your priority is not AFC Asian Cup then what is the point? And he said that I want the FIFA windows for the training purpose, not for matches. I don't know. I think maybe Arnav sir know some of the coaches, but I not come up with a single international coaches who prepare the FIFA windows as just only for the you can say key training camp, and then they go into the tournament. So I kind of find it this is a new way of improving, and I think Ego Stimage might has a new trick. So that's the surprise me ki why we are why we perform in AFC Asian Cup that way because I think if your AIFF and coach priority was not AFC Asian Cup, then how can we expect that हम कुछ यहाँ पे अच्छा करते? And that's I think clearly visible. And after the AFC Asian Cup also, I think the way they remain the silence, I think that's completely you can say clarify the thing. Their priority was not AFC Asian Cup, and I think this is a only fans' expectation, nothing else. So that is a big disappointment, and unfortunately, I think. This will carry forward. In March, we might, you can say, ki beat Afghanistan. In June, we might qualify for the round three. Then 10 matches we will play. Then Indian football fans again back onto the track, have a expectation. But unfortunately, at the 2027, we are on a same, you can say, ki, situation around. So that is the, you can say, ki biggest disappointing thing, to be honest. As a fan, when you lose matlab, hope, I think that is the really tough thing to follow the game again. So I think I'm really disappointed with the all of the things so the current salary also.
Yeah, I know. I think I can sense some disappointment in Hiren's voice. Do you sort of feel the same way? Because I mean, I know you've been there, you've been there, done that. So, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
what did people expect? Sorry. I mean, I
yeah.
understand Hiren's frustrations. Hiren, come to my age and then I'll see if you're still frustrated. And or let Rahul come to my age and be fun. Because again, if anyone expected something to come out of this, and again, even Bhai, again, is he doing it for the right thing or is he again playing to the galleries? Can also be questioned, right? So
Mm.
so that's the problem. You if as long as you don't have the right leadership, which is integrity, um, also certain standing and understanding of the game, and this to me doesn't mean it has to be an ex-player. I think an ex-player is actually, sorry to say, the worst kind of options you have. I've only seen one guy who was really good at that, and that's Franz Beckenbauer. The rest were rubbish, in regard to running and doing things. That guy was a legend, and whatever he touched became gold. The rest of them, it doesn't matter if it's Indian, German, Brazilian, whatever, these are exceptions. You need professional people to run this. And that is the reality, and the thought process of the people who brought in this whole sports code and everything, whatever they've brought in over the last 10 plus years, what has it brought Indian sports? Simple question, right? So for us, as long as the right people don't run Indian football and Indian sports and are given the power and the control to run Indian football the right way, this is a merry-go-round. And again, I repeat, the earlier regime, especially if you look at Kushal and Sunando, were keeping the system running despite all the problems. These people, and they had some money in the bank. All of that is gone. Right? There's no money, there's no system. Capable people have been thrown out of the federation. What is left? You know? But the reality is, you will not be able to change an entire system. You will maybe be changing 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 people here, there. But even changing the AIFF, let's say the right people run the AIFF. If the rest of the Indian football system do not do what is needed, it will not happen. It will not happen. All the stakeholders have to play their part, especially the state association. The clubs have to play. FSDL, the ISL has to play their role. You know, we go back to the discussion, grassroots, youth football. We have to work on the referees we were talking the other day. These are some of the big coaching, most important. Who are the coaches? You know, those who've taught these players who are playing Asian Cup, these people should not be involved in Indian football because they didn't teach them anything right. So therefore, people who tell you, they should be, they know, and they'll be part of the change. We are going to do this. No, they're not. They're part of the problem. You know, that is what annoys me. That people want to change in 2022. Okay, fine. Where are we in 2024? Not even 18 months later. We're in a worse place. If you don't understand that, then nothing to help. And that's the funny one. A lot of people who want to change then want change now. You can change. Change here, change there. What are the fundamental changes you're making to Indian football? Right? Fundamental changes. Because otherwise, this will not change. This is a merry-go-round thing. And we've got that political angle which has come in over the last decade in India as well, which has made it even more complex and more complicated. The right people, with the right support, with the right backing, only way to do it. And everybody has to follow it. That's the only way. Otherwise, shortcut, OCIs, Kardo, we'll go to the World Cup.
Yep.
We have the quality abroad.
Yep. Guys, a lot of people are asking about Igor Stimac in the chat. I can see it. Irene, what do you think Igor Stimac will, or let's put another way. What do you think Igor Stimac? How many games do you think Igor Stimac has to lose, or which games do you think Igor Stimac has to lose in order to sort of receive the sack from the AIFF? Or do you think he will get sacked before his next World Cup qualifier?
No, I don't think so, because I don't know this management what can they do. I think मतलब ये लोग क्या करते हैं पता ही नहीं चलता. I think if we win the match also, then also ये ऐसे लोग हैं कि सेट कर सकते हैं. And if we lose, फिर भी नहीं करेंगे. So you don't know anything. I think decision making ही नहीं है. That is the biggest जो leadership की बात की सब. I think वही कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ पे कमी दिख रही है. Otherwise, after this failure of this kind of tournament and all of this thing happening, I think your president has to show leadership, and whoever the responsible people, they need to summon them and ask the question. But where is that thing? And he should be the face, and he should be the, you can say, the man who make the coordination between all the stakeholder of the Indian football. Either it's a coach, FLTL, everyone. But I think that is currently that is not the scenario. जिस तरह से सारी चीजें दिख रही है, so you can't expect anything कि when will coach sack. I think वो उसके मन में जब आएगा, उसको प्रेशर लगेगा, anything something like that, तभी होगा. Other than that I don't see कि बताना कि भाई ये परफॉर्म, क्योंकि ये लोग परफॉर्मेंस बेस पे तो करते नहीं, ये तो क्लियर हो गया. अदरवाइज तो अभी तक हो जाता. एक आपका एक सिस्टम होता है ना कि कोई बंदा अगर परफॉर्मेंस बेस पे काम नहीं करता तो आप उसको निकाल दोगे. वो तो अभी इन लोगों ने नहीं किया, मतलब उस क्राइटेरिया से तो ये लोग चल नहीं रहे. So they have their own theory. I don't understand. And priorities अलग है, जैसे मैंने बोला. I think their priorities are different altogether. Their focus is different altogether. They are not here with the common goal to make, or you can say, improve Indian football. They have their own agenda, their own things. This is their side thing. I think most of them, the people who are sitting in the exco also, they this is their side thing. This is not their, you can say, the main priority. So I
Yeah.
think उससे पता चलता है कि there will be not much thing happening. I think if there will be humiliation in the Afghanistan matches, or you can say we draw, or we didn't qualify for round 3, then might be this thing happen. Otherwise, I don't see Igor's match will sack if he qualifies for round 3.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, Again, Parmeshwar saying he won't leave. Of course, you'll have to sack him. I think that's understood. I know you think he's sort of safe at the moment. No real noise in the background.
See, the problem is you don't know with this AFF what all is happening at the moment, right? So there's no clear structure. It is very evident today that the president was sort of not leading the whole discussions. It was being led by the vice president, Mr. Harris. Kalyan Chobe still hasn't. Again, there's no statement from Kalyan Chobe post our exit a week ago, which is incredible to think about it. That the federation president, or generally, there's no statement from the All India Football Federation. That to just to put out a statement of some sort. I mean, nothing is there. That is what I find disturbing. This is, and you realize how hurt the Indian soul is, the Indian football soul. That people are, bleeding blue, and you're bleeding to death at the moment, and nobody cares about it. And that's the let's see where we go with this, because it's a difficult situation, and again it's yeah.
Abhishek saying what's happening is this is really saddening. Yeah, it is saddening, isn't it? I mean, I don't know, what do you tell the fans in these situations? I mean, what is there to get behind if you are a fan, and is there anything promising coming?
At some stage, better days need to be coming, right? So that's something which look at these Bengal fans, right? They have to wait for 12 years. That's life. I think at some stage something better will hopefully come around, and but I can't tell you if it's going to be tomorrow, or if you two will be old men by then. I don't know. That's the surety which I can't give you. I think the problem is also, when people say, try and copy what Japan has done, or what Vietnam has done, or what this country, the Japanese are amongst the most organized country in the world, right? If they want to do it, they do it properly. We, as I love to use the word, we do jugaad, and that's our downfall. You cannot, there are no shortcuts. That is very, very important, and you have to do the work at all levels. I think if you look at Reliance and FSDL has put a huge emphasis and a huge focus on the ISL, and they have to be honest to themselves that this league, with the ambitions with which it started in 2013, 2014, 2013 in the planning, 2014 when it kicked off, and with all the fanfare and all what happened around it, never reached the level, where it is, where it was heading, right? They themselves have done a lot when it comes to grassroots and youth football, with the Reliance Foundation Young Champs program, bringing out players and all that stuff. Uh, so hopefully things will change for good. But for that good to happen, who's gonna call the shots?
Yep. Yep. Hiren, any other sort of important things that you sort of took away from this exco meeting?
आई थिंक वो भाईचुंग भूटिया ने ही बोला है, बाकी सारे तो मतलब सिर्फ क्या बोलते कि यस सर बोलने ही गए थे, बाकी कोई काम तो था नहीं उधर। हाँ, अभी मैं अटेंड कर दिया हूँ, बाकी तो कोई रिपोर्ट भी अभी तक आई नहीं है, सो ज्यादा पता नहीं चला है। एंड वो एक दूसरा एजेंडा था रिगार्डिंग इंडिया वेन्यू फॉर दी वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर मैच अगेंस्ट कुवैत, उसका अभी तक कोई रिपोर्ट आया नहीं है, सो मे बी वो डिस्कस हुआ होगा या नहीं हुआ पता नहीं, बट आई थिंक प्रेसिडेंट ही अगर साइलेंट था तो बाकी तो क्या ही एक्सपेक्ट करें। एंड वही वाली चीज है। सो आई थिंक बस ये तो कोर्ट का ऑर्डर था इसलिए बुलानी पड़ी, नहीं तो ये भी नहीं होती। एंड आपका क्या बोलते कि कुछ यहाँ पे होने वाला नहीं था, बट न्यूज ऐसी आ रही है कि आई थिंक मे बी कुछ दिन में यहाँ पे ईगोस्ट इमेज देने वाले हैं, अपना जो परफॉर्मेंस रिव्यू है वो यहाँ पे AIFF ने उनको बुलाया है। सो लेट्स सी वो क्या होता है उसमें, देखते हैं। बाकी आई थिंक ज्यादा कुछ होने वाला नहीं है। वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर्स मार्च में ऐसे ही करते करते आ जाएगा लोग उसमें, फिर अभी तो ISL स्टार्ट होने से आधे लोग तो उसी में वो हो जाएंगे, फिर देन वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर्स आ जाएगा तो सब लोग उसी में बिजी हो जाएंगे, तो ये सारी चीजें फिर बैकडोर चली जाएगी। एंड मैंने जैसे बोला कि अगर राउंड 3 में चले गए तो फिर 10 मैच फिर से हम क्या बोलते वो एंजॉय करेंगे, देन अगेन बैक टू स्क्वायर वन, तो वही वाली
Yeah.
सिचुएशन होगी। एंड आई थिंक वो एक जो पाइचुंग भूटिया ने बोली कि इसको लाइव करना चाहिए और वो सारी चीजें, तो वो उनकी ओर से अपने पर्सपेक्टिव रख रहे थे, उनको भी बनना था, सारी चीजें थी। जैसे सर ने बोला कि वो भी प्लेइंग टू द गैलरी कर रहे थे, वो पता नहीं है। सो
That
दैट इज
again, there have to be discussions even in an exco, which I feel is not everything for the public. You have to have
पब्लिक।
the
हाँ,
opportunity within the AIFF to have a conversation and say, guys, this is not right. We need to talk about this. We need to, and that if there is a public discussion, sorry, if there's a public broadcast, people will behave differently. And these kind of exco meetings, AGMs, and all that stuff, these are not, again, my understanding is these are not intended for the general public.
पब्लिक। हाँ,
So therefore, not every idea that Baichung is making is a good idea. And again, that he question things is good, but then he needs to be questioned. Why did he question these things? What's his agenda?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, apart from the exco meeting, some interesting news. Being a BFC fan, I think I have to bring it up. Finally, some defensive reinforcement. Sana Singh in. That's what Akash is also saying. And Hiren, what do you make of the signing?
I think one of the most needed signing for BFC without a doubt. I think समर में ही जब ट्रांसफर विंडो खत्म हुआ तब डिस्कस किया था कि they are sort of a one Indian quality center back after Sanjay Singhan's leaving. So definitely they needed that quality Indian center back, and finally Sana Singh is an experienced one, played for the national team. He's been really solid for Hyderabad FC also. Last season he's been good. दिस सीजन भी आप देखिए इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस उसकी अच्छी आ रही है आफ्टर दैट ऑल ऑफ द सिचुएशन इन देयर home and everything. I think still he has managed to perform really well, so just so his mentality character. So I think it's a good signing, one of the longest deal in the India football, 5.5 years. So I think he is a part of the project, I think, for a long term. So I think it's a good signing.
Yeah. Shaggy also is sort of my fellow BFC fan is there in the chat, and he's also of course delighted that we brought in Sana Singh. Anna, how do you sort of take to this signing, because it was much needed, and they've gone after what they've needed most, which was an Indian centre back, and now that gives you the option of playing that extra foreigner outside. I mean, outside your back four, you play one of Damjanovic or Ivanovic and play one more outside. So I think it's a game changing signing for the second half of the season.
Could be. I mean, it will be interesting to see how BFC play, because again you had the youngsters playing in the Kalinga Super Cup. Your experienced players are coming back. I don't know what the mood is amongst the Indian boys. I think some of them are realizing sort of what happened in Qatar. So that's something which will be interesting to see. I think the most interesting part will be at BFC is how does Sunil do, right? Because Sunil has not had the best of seasons so far, and he didn't have the best of Asian Cups. So the question is, if you're looking at March and the June window, these are the two windows where you will need Sunil in somewhat of a form. So therefore, that's going to be an interesting one as well. And Suresh had a decent tournament, but Gurpreet also, this way, that way, not fully sure where the whole journey went.
Yeah. Guys, any updates apart from this one in the transfer market? It's been fairly quiet this January, like I think we pointed out a couple of days back as well. But any other updates that you guys have?
Nasir Al Khayaty lives Mumbai City. So
Yeah.
there is some of the rumors coming in. Hitesh Sharma to Odisha FC done. Nikhil Pujari will be interesting where he's heading. Mumbai City, East Bengal. So there is 2-3 clubs are interested.
Yeah, so it looks like Mumbai City are doing a little bit of a cleanup after all that's happened at the Super Cup. So Al Khayaty is the first one. It also looks likely that Royston Griffiths and Jorge Pereira Diaz, all of them could be leaving. So they could be signing up to 3 new foreigners, which would be insane. And again, Nikhil Pujari it seems to be an on-off thing. It was nearly done, then it was done, then it was not done. Then supposedly he's taking a decision tomorrow. So therefore, again, finally, at least a little bit, the transfer market is heating up. Goa have signed Borja Herrera from East Bengal. So therefore, that's an interesting one as a replacement. And yeah, it's really interesting to see. I mean, Goa is looking for a centre back. Mohan Bagan is looking for a centre back. Let's wait and see. And there are, I think, today and tomorrow we'll most probably see some very interesting transfers happening.
Ganesh is asking why are Mumbai going for Nikhil when they've got Valpuya? Of course, they've got Valpuya, who's a little younger. They've also got Rahul Beke, who can play at right back. I know you think that will hamper. I mean, Nikhil Pujari coming in. Do you think it's going to hamper the growth of somebody like a Valpuya?
See, the point is for Mumbai City that Mumbai City has had its issues with right and left backs a little bit this season. Sorry, in the last few seasons, and this season, of course, they brought in Akash. And Akash is stop and start, and on the other side, they're looking, again, I think Peter Kratky is trying to change certain things. I think he's not happy with sort of the dressing room and the behavior of the dressing room. Might be a little radical, but maybe he's looking at that and saying, listen, we're not that bad, but I'll have to make a few changes. Maybe even risk of saying, you know what, we don't win a title in the ISL this year, but I have a better squad ready for the next season. And maybe that is the approach that he's taking at the moment. And so let's see what they do.
Raj is already saying that Royston's not with the team at the moment. The rumors that he's already terminated his contract and fly to Australia. Now, Hiren, just on Peter Kratky. So whenever I see something like this, I always feel like it's a sign of a good coach. Because I think he knows what he wants, and he's sort of his mind is clear, and he will not take any nonsense, or he will not tolerate any nonsense in the dressing room. Do you agree? Do you think this is the right approach from the coach?
I think so. I think that needs to be done. I think the most important thing, if you are a quality player or whatever thing, I think the atmosphere of the dressing room and how the coach motivates or how the coach command the things, that is the one of the, you can say, key secret of the any team's success. I think if you see all around the world, I think Jurgen Klopp, I think yesterday I'm listening to his one of the thing, and he mentioned a very good thing. He स्टार्टिंग 11 में एवरी वीक स्टार्टिंग 11 में जो प्लेयर होते हैं वो मेरे से सबसे ज्यादा खुश होते हैं. फिर जो बेंच पे होते हैं वो मेरे से थोड़े से क्या बोलते हैं कि स्टार्टिंग 11 में जो प्लेयर होते हैं वो मेरे को लव करते हैं, जो बेंच पे होते हैं वो मेरे को लाइक करते हैं, एंड जो बाकी स्क्वाड में नहीं होते वो प्लेयर मेरे को उस वीक के लिए यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि वो करते हैं कि नहीं भाई आज मेरा चांस नहीं. बट ये दिखाना कोच का कि भाई नहीं, तुम अगर मेहनत करोगे तुम्हारा भी नेक्स्ट वीक में यहाँ पे चांस बन सकता है. दैट इज द जॉब ऑफ कोच कि यहाँ पे हर किसी प्लेयर से को यहाँ पे एक क्या बोलते हैं कि कॉन्फिडेंस दिलाना और वो जिस तरह का एटमॉस्फेयर बनाना. एंड आई थिंक ईगो स्टिमिच को मैं इसलिए मानता हूँ कि वो उस एंगल में भी फेल हुए. अगर आप नेशनल टीम की बात करें कि आप देखिए कि जो एक कोऑर्डिनेशन और पूरे जो आपका ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ 11 प्लेयर को खुश रखना है, यू नीड टू मेंटेन दैट 23 प्लेयर्स, क्योंकि हम सबको पता है कि जिस तरह से अभी फुटबॉल खेला जाता है आपको इंजरीज होनी ही होनी है, यू नेवर गेट योर परफेक्ट 11, आई थिंक वेरी रेयरली यू विल गेट अ परफेक्ट। So other
Yeah.
players needs to also have that confidence कि हाँ कोच मेरे को उस रोल में देख रहे हैं, and I think that's where I think ego image fails. So this is a very important thing for any team to succeed. And I think Peter, like coach like Peter Ketke needed more in the Indian football, to be honest, at the youth level. I think he has done a good work in the youth setup also. So I want a person like him in the India under 17, India under 20, India under 23 setup also. So these are the kind of coaches we need a more.
Hmm. Uh, I know Shaggy saying Rahul Beke to BSC will come to know tomorrow only. If Nikhil Pujari is to come to Mumbai City, you think that's a good move for him? For Beke?
No, Beke is a Mumbai boy. And he's the captain of the team. I don't see that making sense. But again, there's some crazy transfers potentially happening today and tomorrow. So therefore that will be interesting to see what happens. Again, Mumbai City could be releasing 3 of their foreigners. Former FC Goa striker is in conversations. Hugo Bumus might make a surprise return to Mumbai City as well. So there's some crazy rumors around at the market at the moment. So therefore there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening.
Yep. Going to be interesting, guys. If I had to if you had to give me one destination for Nikhil Pujari, who's clearly the talking point in the chat as well, where would that be? Where do you think he should go as a player?
I think in terms of the game time, I think East Bengal where he will get a more game time, because I think निशु is there, but I think मेरे को नहीं लगता कि उतना ज्यादा निशु मंदार या फिर उसका उस लेवल का परफॉर्मेंस आया है कंपेरेटिव टू, अगर आप देखें तो आई थिंक वहां पे उसको ज्यादा चांस मिल सकता है। बट अगर
Okay.
आई थिंक मुंबई भी ट्रांजिशन के लिए देख रही है, देन आई थिंक इस सीजन भले ही कम चांसेस मिले, बट मे बी नेक्स्ट सीजन से आप देखिए कि राहुल बेके अगर क्लब को लीव करते हैं, देन आई थिंक वहां पे उसका चांस बन सकता है। तो आई थिंक वो डिसाइड करेगा कि वो उसको कहाँ पे जाना है।
I know.
राकिब इज ऑल्सो देयर, बट आई थिंक अगर आप क्वालिटी वाइज देखें तो निखिल पुजारी विल अहेड ऑफ राकिब और यू कैन सी निशु।
Yeah. I know.
I think it's an interesting one. If I look at Mumbai City, I don't know what Mumbai City is going to do now and in the summer, and if there is any possibility that maybe Chante might go abroad, then maybe Nikhil Pujari might be actually an option as an attacking winger.
Mm.
So I see that for him, that might be the most interesting offer on the table. I think the package is the most interesting one as well. So therefore, let's wait and see. I think the problem I have with Nikhil Pujari is that to me his attacking instincts are better than his defensive. I mean, one of the best chances of the tournament against Australia he created with his cross for Sunil, right? So therefore maybe there might be an option over there. So again, it's just it's how you perceive it to be.
Yeah. Guys, any replacements for Jingan, you think? Goa need to sign? I think somebody said in the chat that Nimdorji is. has been-
Nim
Nimdorji.
Dorji is close. It's not done yet, but Nim Dorji looks to be very close
Yeah,
as
that's
the
his name.
replacement. Therefore, yeah, it's an interesting one because again, Manolo needs to do it. I think FC Goa a little while back also made a statement that Sandesh is out. So not really confirming it 1-to-1 what it is, but that's where it stands at the moment.
Yep. Okay, guys. Nice little transfer roundup as well. Tomorrow we've got an ISL action back, so let's just quickly preview Jamshedpur versus Northeast United. Hiren, what are you expecting from this one? We return to the ISL. Just a reminder of where these two teams stand. Jamshedpur are currently 10th, Northeast sitting 6th, but just 3 points separating the two sides. What do you expect?
I think it will be a close encounter, and in Northeast United made two interesting signings, one in defense, one in attack. So that's quite interesting to see how they are going to perform. And for Jamshedpur FC, this Super Cup has given a confidence, and that will be let's see कि can be replicated on the ISL also, because they need to pull up, and with the new coach, let's see how they are going to perform in ISL. But I'm expecting a close match, maybe a draw, or I would say slightly I would ahead at Northeast United.
Okay, okay. Parthiv will score tomorrow, is what Happy Cheese is saying. I know you think he's going to score, and if he's, can you just give us a little scoreline prediction as well?
It's an interesting one because they played each other just a few days back in the Super Cup, right? In the group stage. So a quick rematch. Khalid Jamil did very well with his team in the tournament, but had 6 foreigners. So I think that's going to be an interesting one. How these teams set up after having trained and played with 6 foreigners, suddenly having to play with 4. You know, and it's gonna be interesting. Ben Ali has been. I've liked the way that this coach has come in and tried, but I think I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Fair enough. Hiren, can you give us a scoreline prediction as well?
Yes, I also expecting a draw.
Okay, okay, okay. Anurag saying 1-0 Northeast. Abhishek saying 0-all draw. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. The ISL's back tomorrow, guys. Thanks for joining today, and hopefully you've gotten what you wanted from this discussion on AIFF's executive committee meeting, and we did a bit of a transfer roundup as well. So yeah, please do like and share these videos. Subscribe to all the channels, SportsKhabri, Curious Harry, and we're again hoping that Arun is back online as soon as possible. So yeah, thanks everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone.